there's been a quote recently by Jeremy Siegel. He's a professor at the Wharton School of Economics, and he went on record and said that, in his opinion, Jerome Powell and the Fed have made the two largest mistakes in the history of the Fed. One being the first one last year when they were too soft on inflation, really did nothing about it. And now here we are in 2022 and they think that it's too tight, or he personally thinks that it's way too tight. Do you have thoughts on that? I mean, that's a pretty extreme thing to say about the Fed that's been around as long as it has, for that to say those are the two biggest mistakes. Obviously, really the same mistake, just at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, so we as investors have to be very cognizant of the information and the data that we consume, essentially, right, or that we digest, and we have to be cognizant that there's a narrative out there in the media world, mainstream, right? They're trying to reassure everyone that everything is okay, because the interests are all aligned to get that message out there. Now, if you invest in certain data sources, one data source that I use is Shadow Stats, where John Williams actually runs the numbers before the data got tortured. In the 90s, I always joke and say, when you torture data enough, it confesses. So he gives you the untortured data, and when you look at that data, every single data point tells you that the economy is slowing down big time. We are already in a recession, regardless what the latest definition.
The definition's been changed, though. You didn't hear?
Yeah, they changed the definition of a recession. Then they changed the definition of the concept and term of a definition on Wikipedia. I saw it too. Quite bizarre times that we live in. But essentially, for investors, it's very important to find the right information. Folks always ask me, how do I find it? You have to pay for it. And it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, but there are subscriptions that you would need to find the accurate data that you would actually need, because the decisions that you're going to make is only going to be as good as the data and information on which it's based on. So, so they know the genie's out of the bottle. They understand that the economy is coming down, but at this stage, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. They're trying to fight inflation, which I think, judging by their body language, that they don't think that they can stop it. But they're now tightening, essentially, in a slowing economy. And this is going to have a lot of deflationary consequences as a result. So it's important for investors to be aware of that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You brought up narrative, and that's really important because there's so much information out there. There's so much white noise. There's so many news sources out there. I mean, you can get on Google and search the same topic and find tons of information on it. I always follow the data. You like the data sources as well. Data doesn't lie. Data drives most of my personal business decisions. But that narrative out there, that's frightening, because people that don't necessarily have the right resources, or maybe the right mentor in their life, are oftentimes going to come up really short, because they're not going to have an accurate picture of what the market is looking like, or what the market, more importantly, is going to be doing, and what those trends look like, so you can get ahead of them as an investor and ultimately be part of that smart money. There is a ton of money to be made right now. So, this is not a doom and gloom. This is just a reality check video. Look, here is what's going on. Everyone go out there and do your own due diligence, research, obviously, but there are a lot of ways to make money. It's no time to get cute, so don't go it alone. Get with an expert, obviously do tons of research. Guys like MC and his team can really help folks out that are maybe looking for some direction. If you're interested in, a lot of the things that they offer, you go to email ninja@vipfinancialeducation.com. That's ninja@vipfinancialeducation.com. Include your first name, your last name, the best number to reach you at, and VIP conversation in the subject line, and someone from MC's team will get back in touch with you right away to see if it's a good fit. They've got tons of guidance, very structured programs that may or may not be a good fit, but it doesn't hurt to certainly reach out and see for yourself. With so much going on right now, having that guidance and or mentorship, whether it's MC and his team or someone else, is of the utmost importance in order to really capitalize on what's going on right now.
A very, very important thing that I have to remind myself daily is, because really think about it, there's a lot going on. If you're an investor in this environment, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of different narratives. we are living in an environment where people are fighting for attention and your attention every single day, right? And it's also a time where massive change is happening very quickly, very rapidly, massive disruption. There's chaos in many parts of the world already, and there's been chaos in the United States already. So what I try to remind myself as an investor every single day is I just try to center myself and try to figure out through the data sources that I pay for, what are the facts? Because the facts are so different than feelings. And that's essentially what narratives that in these narratives, they're driven by agendas, right? So you have all these narratives out there that's trying to capture your attention and make you feel a certain way. So what I've learned on my journey as an investor too, that every single time I move over to the feeling side, except away from the facts, I get in trouble and I make bad decisions. So it's very important during this time, especially, to ask yourself when you're just digesting data and information, is this facts or is this a narrative that's trying to drive a feeling of mine, right? And it's very interesting because, and folks would say, really, facts versus feelings? That's not very enlightening, MC. That's kind of just common sense. But no, we hear about the market sentiment every single day. And the market is consists out of people. And essentially how they feel drives the sentiment of the market. So as an investor, by focusing on the facts and not on the feelings which drive the sentiment, you're going to be able to position yourself to capitalize on the incredible amount of opportunities that's available there. Because to your point, the opportunities that's available today for folks to capitalize on is quite incredible.
Yeah, and I just saw an article the other day, or a stat the other day, within the next 5 years, and even with all this economic turmoil globally, within the next 5 years, the number of global millionaires is going to double. So that just goes to show you right there, where people that are actually out making moves, they're getting involved, they're in the know, and they're taking action. Those are the people that are going to be making a lot of money. Same thing with post 08. People made a ton of, there was generational wealth made back then. It's going to be the same thing now if you know what you're doing. So guys, if you're watching this and you want to get prepared for retirement, for example, you want to start making really sound financial decisions that could lead towards retirement, reach out to MC and his team. They've got really just a suite of products and advice that they can give you guys to help navigate trying times like this. Again, we always say this is no time to get cute. Get an expert in investing or in whatever particular investment class you're looking to get involved in. Get a mentor, get a coach, get someone that has been down this road before, because there's opportunities to make a lot of money if you know what you're doing, or if you're doing it with someone that does know what they're doing. So if you want to talk to MC and his team, go ahead and email ninja@vipfinancialeducation.com. Be sure to include your first, your last name, the best number to reach you, and VIP conversation in the subject line. Someone from MC or his team will get back in touch with you ASAP to see, answer any questions first and foremost, and see if it's a good fit. They may be able to help you really navigate these troubled waters right now. So it's definitely worth reaching out. Go ahead and drop that thumbs up below. That helps out our algorithms. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe and ding that bell. As always, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.